How's it going, everybody? Welcome to episode 47 of the ChiTown podcast. It's just me today. Tom has some stuff with school with finals coming up, so um, I'm the only one recording. So yeah, we're gonna talk some Cubs, and then that's really about it. It's probably gonna be a short episode because of the uh, rain. The game got canceled yesterday, so we only have one game to talk about. But luckily for us, the Cubs put on a very good performance with some bad news in the game, but we'll get to it. Yeah, let's do it. Cubs win today 8-3 over the Miami Marlins. The Marlins are bad. Let's just say that. The Marlins are very bad. There's no hitting, no pitching. The bullpen isn't good. The defense is definitely not good. So this should be 100% like Thomas and I said earlier. The Cubs should win at least 3 games. If they are going to lose a game this series, it will be the Kyle Hendricks start. As much as we all want it to happen. No, he won't get DFA'd. They're paying him $17 million. It's just 15, 16, whatever. It's just not going to happen. They're going to move into the bullpen first. They'll see what happens at the bullpen. If they don't move him, if it doesn't work out, there will be some phantom injury, and he probably won't pitch again for the Cubs. Which I'm on the. My thought process behind it is, I think he needs a phantom IL stint because you can't keep trotting him out there every day or every fifth day, needing 12 runs to score, and really just the bullpen gets absolutely fried whenever he starts because he can only go 3 innings, and even in the 4 innings he goes, he's giving up 5, 6, 7 earned runs. It's not going to happen with Kyle Hendricks if he keeps pitching like this. Yes, I went on a little Kyle Hendricks rant, but whatever. Cubs take the series against the Marlins. Dansby, hopefully breaking out of his slump, had a nice day at the plate. Got a little help from the wind and a bloop single, but I think he also had a walk. I'll pull it up real quick. Dansby Swanson, 2 for 3 with an RBI, a walk, and a strikeout. Look, I don't need him to be Barry Bonds. I need him to be a guy who has an OPS around 760 and can hit 250 to 260. That if we can get that from Dansby Swanson, the Cubs are in a really good spot, especially with his defense. We need to talk about Christopher Morel, though, because if you remember in, I think it was the Mariners or the Padres series, he it looked like on one of the foul balls that he hit, it looked like he hurt his finger, and I'm curious to see if that's impacting his at bats, just because he's making hard contact, but it's not really in the air. I mean, looking at Baseball Savant today, he had one ball that was hit. I mean, he beat it directly into the ground. Baseball Savant doesn't want to load. Here we go. Christopher Morel. He had a ground out at 101.9 miles an hour. A ground out at 95 miles an hour. And then he grounded into a double play, 72 miles an hour off the bat. Did I miss one? And then he had a walk. So I think it's probably there, but it's not at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense. That clearly doesn't make any sense. But he needs to. If he needs to take a day off, he needs to take a day off. Or if he needs to sit 3 games, he needs to sit 3 games. You can't just keep running him out there if his fingers destroyed, and he's just not going to produce offensively. Um, I'm hoping it's not a big issue, and he's just in one of those where he's ice cold. I mean, it could be tomorrow, it could be next week. He could go 8 for 10 and have 4 home runs. That's just that's the type of hitter Morel is. But some more potential injury news. Ian Happ had to leave the game with hamstring tightness. I wanted to say it was. Ian Happ. Left hamstring tightness for Ian Happ. So that's not the same one, luckily, that kept him out of spring training. It is still a problem. So we will see if he's in the lineup in either game tomorrow, or if he's going to the IL, which it would be absolutely brutal if he goes to the IL, just because Seiya's already there, Steele's already there, Merriweather's. I mean, the injuries are just piling up for this team. Morel's potentially injured. I mean, somehow they're winning games through all of these injuries, but it's yeah, they have so many major. It's not like Nick Madrigal has a rolled ankle and is out for a week. It is your leadoff hitter against lefties, your best hitter, your best pitcher, your best bullpen arm, all are injured at the same time, and somehow they're still 12-7, which is extremely impressive. But we'll see what happens with that. I'm hoping it's nothing, but also it's just something that he should probably take the series off. Like, it's the Miami Marlins. You give Canario some run. I mean, he performed really well in Arizona. Let Canario play. Just give Ian Happ the series off. That's I think is probably the best case scenario for the Cubs. I mean, the best case scenario is he's fine and he's in the lineup tomorrow. But no need to push the issue this early in the season, and especially against the Marlins. Now on to the good news. Nico Hoerner may officially be back, ladies and gentlemen. He goes 2 for 5 today. His OPS back over 700 at 737. His average is 258. He hit the ball really hard today, too. Let me pull it up. .102.9 mile per hour double in the first. He had an 81 mile per hour double, so he got a little lucky there. But then he had a 96.2 mile per hour fly out, 93.6 mile per hour fly out. And I think that ended his day. Yes. Oh, he had a weekly hit fielder's choice. But that's going to be huge for the offense because Morel's struggling right now. If Nico Hoerner and Dansby Swanson can kind of get it figured out and start run producing and hitting and slugging, the Cubs are in a really good spot just because those are we highlighted those in earlier episodes. Those are two guys that need to step up with Seiya being injured and now potentially with Happ being injured. That needs to happen if the Cubs are going to be successful with the current injuries they have. It's a must, absolute must. Another guy who needs to step up until Steele gets back, and he did big time today. Jameson Taillon comes back, pitches extremely well. I think he went 5 innings. Jameson Taillon, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, no walks, 4 strikeouts. The 1 home run he gave up, the only stadium that ball would have left, oddly enough, unfortunately, was Wrigley Field. So not too worried about it. But he comes in, gets the job done. Looked fantastic. Fastball looked great. Breaking stuff looked great. Yes, it's the Marlins, but that's a perfect team to make your first start of the year with. And the biggest thing is he was probably only supposed to go 4 innings, but he was so efficient he ended up going 5. And along with the rain out yesterday, the Cubs only used 3 pitchers. It went from Tyone to Thompson to Brewer. So I mean, if you want to call Keegan Thompson a high leverage guy right now, go ahead. But they really didn't use any high leverage guy, which is going to be huge with a doubleheader coming up tomorrow. And I think they do actually have an off day on Monday, so it's not as big of a deal as the doubleheader tomorrow. Checking, they play on Sunday. Yeah, and then they're off Monday, so not a big issue for the Cubs. Get through tomorrow. I mean, look, if I'm expecting them to win both games tomorrow. Like, the Marlins are bad. I'm very close to putting the Marlins in the Rockies category, where you expect a sweep. Now, of course, it is a 4-game series, so I'm not expecting a sweep here. But you need to win 3. I think the Sunday game is the game Hendricks is pitching. So if you lose that one, whatever. But like I said with Hendricks earlier, if he gets shelled by the Marlins, there needs to be something needs to happen. Just because I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you can't keep trotting him out there every 5th day and expecting a different outcome. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over again and expecting something different to happen. This is a really good baseball team that genuinely, I don't think they're going to win 100 games. I mean, they've won 12 out of 19. It's a 63% win percentage pretty much. I don't think they're going to win 102 baseball games. Okay. It's an unrealistic expectation. I do think they can win 90 to 95 for sure, especially once they get healthy. That's the biggest thing, is they're winning games so far with their best players out. And being able to do that shows the depth that they have and how good teams win. Good teams blow out bad teams. We've seen that so far. And then good teams win with injuries. I mean, look at the Braves. The Braves won the World Series without their best player, Ronald Acuna Jr., a couple years ago. The good teams do it. The Cubs need to continue to do it. It's imperative. Patrick Wisdom, back with the big league club, was batting second today. Went 1 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts, but he did walk. I'm not reading too much into it. He's a better option than Mastrobuoni. Genuinely, his role when Seiya Suzuki comes back, and if Alexander Canario kind of establishes himself as a regular or an important bench piece, kind of like a Mike Tauchman role, Wisdom's role is going to be, you play against soft tossing lefties that you can hit the ball 800 feet against, or the Cubs are down 3, have runners on first and second with 2 outs, and they need a home run. That's going to be Patrick Wisdom's role. And then spot starts at first and third, like I said, against lefties. But I mean, Garrett Cooper was 1 for 3 today with the walk. I mean, he's hitting really well. So if Cooper keeps hitting really well, I'm going to find it really difficult for Wisdom to find at-bats. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not saying they should DFA him or trade him. He has value in certain roles, but he also has proven that he's not an everyday guy. Like, if he's hitting home runs left and right, keep him in the lineup for 5 straight games. That's perfectly fine. But if he's striking out 18 times in a 3-game series, well, we got an issue, right? Like that's unacceptable. But Wisdom is back. Mastroboni sent down. He wasn't getting consistent at bats. The only thing there are two things that Mastroboni provides that are better than Patrick Wisdom. It's versatility around the field. Mastroboni can play all 3 outfield spots, second, short, and third. Wisdom he's played center, but he really can only play right and left, third, and first. Mastroboni is also left-handed, but that's what you have Mike Talkman for. It's I don't know if Mastroboni got a hit has a hit this year. This year, Miles Mastroboni his hitless, yes. It appears he's walked once. Looking. He walked once. It's just he's strictly I don't even want to say he's strictly a bench guy because I don't even think that's the role for him. And I don't even like extremely dislike Miles Mastroboni. It's just he just doesn't fit on this team. That's really it. Especially with Nick Madrigal, you can't have 2 limp dick at bats on the bench. You just can't have it. It's not going to work. I don't want to say I'd rather have Mastroboni over Madrigal just because Madrigal Madrigal is a ground ball machine, but it's a weird. I don't want either of them, to be honest with you. Like, if I had to choose, best case scenario, neither of them are on the roster. If I had to pick one, it's Madrigal, just because he does not strike out nearly as much as Miles Mastroboni. We need to talk about a potential bright young star that the Cubs have in Miguel Amaya, and he's proving that he needs to be getting 75% of the starts at catcher. Not quite as good of a game caller as Yan Gomes, but at this point, better bat. Overall better defensively, more accurate, but not the arm strength that Gomes has. And he needs to start. The issue with Gomes is he's old. That's really what it is. Yan Gomes is old, and like last year you saw he didn't really play 3 games in a row. This year it's tough for him to play 2. Like you've all seen the at bats where he's just not even close. It'll be a slider in the other batter's box. It'll be a fastball way high. He's just not close. Amaya, yes, he hits the ball on the ground a little too hard or a little too much, but he needs. Baseball Savant is struggling today. I mean, his expected batting average is really high. His average exit velocity is pretty high. That's the biggest thing is he cannot. He needs to be hitting the ball in the air. If he hits the ball in the air, fantastic. We're sitting pretty. But I don't want him to be kind of Albert Almora, where he just consistently smashed the ball on the ground. Like, cannot happen. I'm just trying to find a Albert Almora from like 2018. I mean, great defender, but just terrible with the bat. Now, the best news of today, outside of the Cubs win, Justin Steele set to pitch a live bullpen on Sunday, which if that goes well, you can only think that a couple rehab starts are coming, and then he'd be ready to go, hopefully by that first week in May. That will be absolutely massive to this team. Like, huge. Just they need Justin Steele back. Like, there's no way to sugarcoat that. They absolutely need Justin Steele back. Even if he's not like awesome right away, like he normally is. If he struggles out the gate, it's fine. He'll eat innings. He'll look, he's going to figure it out. There's a reason he should have been top 3 in NL Cy Young voting last year. He wasn't. Justin Steele is the Cubs' best pitcher, hands down, without a doubt. This also is going to bring me back to Kyle Hendricks here. I just don't see a spot for him in the rotate. I don't see a spot for him on the team at all. They're not going to DFA him, I don't think. The rotation when Justin Steele comes back and everyone's healthy, it should be Justin Steele, Shota Imanaga, Jameson Taillon, Javier Assad, and probably Ben Brown. Am I missing someone? Probably Ben Brown. I can see if they want to move Ben Brown to the bullpen just because I forgot about Jordan Wicks. So there's your 5 starters. Unless they want to do a 6-man rotation, swap Ben Brown with Jordan Wicks. I do think at the moment Ben Brown's probably better suited for the bullpen until he fully develops a third pitch, because right now he's fastball, curveball, and I don't know how much success he's going to have against the upper level really good teams. But we'll see what happens with that. But if he could develop like a changeup or a slider, it doesn't even have to be plus. It's just something that the hitter has to think about. Ben Brown is going to be a very, very solid pitcher for the Cubs. It's just going to wrap it up. This team is 12-7, right? This is a good baseball team. They're missing their best position player, their best pitcher, their best starter, and their best reliever. Once all those guys come back, Merriweather's probably not going to be here till late June, July. Once they all come back, this is, like I said, they're on pace to win 102 games. They're not going to win 102 games. It's not going to happen. But can they win 93? I mean, I said 92 and Tom was making fun of me. But right now, 92. Right now, if the Cubs don't win 90 games, it's probably a disappointing season. Unless 88, I'm fine with 88. The biggest thing, they have to win the division. That's going to be my benchmark. If they win the division, and then if I don't even want to say get out of the wild card round because it's so fluky, but I'm going to say the benchmark, a good Cubs season, they win the division. Like, that's expected. If they don't win the division, this is a terrible season. Unless something terrible goes wrong. It goes terribly wrong. That's 1. 2, they need a great season. They make it into the division series past the wild card round. And then the third tier is, you couldn't ask for much more except winning the World Series, is if they make the championship series or World Series. I don't think this is a World Series winning team, but also baseball's weird. So you never know. You just get in. That's literally the thing. No one expected the Diamondbacks to make the World Series last year. They made the World Series. Get in. That's long term. Short term, they sit at 12-7. They should be 14-8 at the end of this series. You got the Astros, who have been struggling, coming in next week. Just win. Just win. There is a realistic possibility where the Cubs are 16-9 after this homestand, and that would be an extremely successful homestand in my opinion. Just win. And I think that's going to do it. There it is. Thanks for listening. Have a good one. We'll be back Monday, hopefully talking about a Cubs series victory.